22nd of December, 2025. And that means that we're now in the last 10 days of the month and the year. And we can talk about Bitcoin and altcoins right now, real quick. If you watched the live stream today on Alpha Trading in our Discord or on Rumble, then you saw that the VEPs played out magnificently over the weekend and today as well so far, according to the tendencies of trading volatility. You've had some lovely opportunities for scalps to the downside and the upside, back and forth all weekend long, and also today, right around market open, in fact. And if you watched today's live stream, you would have seen Bilbo going through the workflow, telling you precisely, take your profits, because it's about to reverse. And it did. And then it reversed again. So people got wrecked going one way, and then other people got wrecked, even some of them the same people, most likely, going back the other way. But those who took profits did well, right? If you're one of those, good for you. And why is that? Well, that's because, as always, volatility and correlation determines the direction of the price action, right? How does it do that? Well, volatility is the standard deviation of log returns on investment, also known as the standard deviation of returns, right? That's for the normal distribution of volatility. And the correlation to the price action, right, is what, together with volatility and the correlation to the price action, shows you the likely tendency of the direction of any given candle. And you can see that in the volatility and correlation indicators that we give away literally for free. You can also see that in the alpha laser returns indicator that we give away for free, and in the returns oscillator indicator, which is our premium version of that indicator, basically. And you can see when there's an imbalance, right, a divergence between the returns and the price action, that you're going to have, a bear div or a bull div, hidden or, not hidden, strong or weak, whatever you want to call it. And you can see bull and bear divergences very nicely on that indicator and trade them very well. Why? Because if anything, price action follows the returns. Well, why? Well, because the returns are determined by the volatility and the correlation, right? But specifically by the volatility, right? Returns are determined by the volatility, and the returns and their correlation very much indicate as well what price action is likely to do. And if you look at what price action does, right, price action basically follows the returns. It can be out of step sometimes by, one or two candles, maybe three or four sometimes in extreme cases, but eventually it will always fall back in line and do what the returns are doing, right? The returns and the correlation will determine the price action direction, right? Just like you can say the same thing about volatility and the correlation determine the price action, but basically volatility creates the returns, right? So the standard deviation of returns creates the returns, and then the returns themselves create the price action. And you can ask, and it's logical to ask, how does the standard deviation of returns create the returns? Shouldn't it be the other way around? The answer is no, because the standard deviation of returns is the spread of data around the mean, right? And also known as the variance. And that spread of data around the mean is the spread or the delta of the ask and bid, right? If you know what that means, the buy and sell, right? Prices, right? Of orders that are coming into the exchanges. So that spread, that delta, that difference between the buy and the sell prices determines, right, the variance, right, which is the volatility. And that volatility, right, because it's the volatility, again, is the standard deviation of returns. So the standard deviation of returns, right, the active difference between the ask and buy, creates the actual returns, right? The returns aren't created until the standard deviation of returns is locked in. Once the standard deviation of returns are locked in any given time frame, right, then that determines the returns for that given time frame. Well, and then the returns for that given time frame with the correlation, actively create what the price action is likely to follow. Remember that price action, yes, am I from America? Yes, I am. And I live in Israel. The returns and the correlation then determine the price action. Remember, the price action only does two things, right? I mean, apart from following the returns, right? Price action only exists in two modes, is really what I wanted to say there. Price action exists in random walk mode, which is what it's doing most of the time, 80% of the time on most assets and most timeframes. And it's in trending mode, the other 10 to 20 or 30% of the time. Right, on average, around 20% of the time, an asset will be in trending mode, right? That's it. And how do you determine if it's in trending mode? Well, you look at our entropy indicator. The Alpha Trading Entropy Pro indicator shows you when the asset is in a random walk and when it's in a trending mode or a trending move. That's it. That's how you determine trend. It has nothing to do with SMAs or EMAs or whatever silly nonsense people say. It has to do with entropy. That's how you determine if an asset is randomly walking or in a trend. That's it. So by using volatility, entropy, probabilities, and statistics, you too can learn a better way to trade. The way you do that for free is you come into the Alpha Trading Discord at alphatradinghq.com/discord, and you get your free tools, you get your free chart, get all the free educational information. And if you're serious about taking it to the next level, once you've actually learned how to use the free tools, you can sign up to our pro tools if you want. No obligation. Keep the free tools forever if you want. Trade with them. They're amazing tools. We wouldn't give them out if they didn't work amazing. Those were the first tools that we used when we built Alpha Trading. And we give them away for free because we want you to be able to learn how to trade for free and not have to pay a bunch of YouTube jimmies, hundreds and even thousands of dollars for some garbage indicators and bad courses and all this other nonsense that they sell you. Right? We want to give you stuff for free. And the only things we charge for are advanced tools. And this is really to keep away the trolls and the freeloaders. So that's it. And hopefully you will catch us in one of the live streams and check us out on the Discord. And until next time, folks, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Really appreciate it. Share this video. Talk to you guys later. Peace.